Rafael. This is a true story, told by a dead man who was a beautiful horse. I'm Rafael, and when alive I was convinced that I was a chestnut horse born down from the Salati spring, in Nuoro, Sardinia. Thus, I had the 14th form of madness recognized in the town, the one typical of the shepherds who, after years of solitude in the middle of our severe island, believed they were sheep. Many men and women there were crazy in different ways. They went mad in that harsh and prickly world that pretended to show compassion by accepting all of them, giving them room on its stage. Actually, we were all just an army of extras in its play, since Nuoro was an evil scene, and maladjusted people, with one of the 34 forms of madness, to be precise, as even one less would have subtracted a cornerstone from its greatness, were necessary only for the development of its history. Other villages used folkloristic rites that lasted for days to free mad people. Instead, Nuoro had a great sense of drama, and various choirs in the background of the scene were mandatory. Without them the tragedies had no depth or relief. So we were just pathetic puppets, yet nobody can choose their role in life and they are lucky if they can perform it with an artistic detachment, that is all. My trot was elegant, my gallop through the streets powerful and effective, both made with a carelessness, shaking of my head while neighing to myself. I drank only from the streams and the troughs, together with the other horses, donkeys and cattle. Bent over the water, I would see a polite steed and at the same time a handsome young man with sweet dreaming eyes and long fair hair, the image of a distressed Jesus Christ, tired after a long walk in the desert. As I was mad, I often saw Jesus Christ caressing a chestnut horse, inviting him to drink, protecting him with his arm. Many families gave me food, so I suffered only from cold and loneliness. After the death of my mother, she was violent, with hands like talons and a malevolent glance as if she came from the hell of the Argentera mines. I went to live in a crack among the rocks of Sant'Onofrio Hill. The opening was partially covered by branches. I had no father, of course. In every pregnancy, also in the spontaneous ones under the oaks of Mount Orthobene, the mares conceive without stallions. You could argue that a horse cannot feel lonely, maybe you are right. And I was not lonely then, until I fell in love with Francesca. Then, I sensed the entire weight of my isolation. I had likes and dislikes for different people, definitely, but I loved Francesca the most, with animal passion, with torment. Don't say animals are not possessive and capable of a total, desperate devotion. I'm dead now. 3 cats entered my den. They took advantage of my illness and slaughtered me. They were the cats with whom I had shared my cave and my nights, the ones I had pampered and fed. Not literally wild cats but Nuoro beasts, bold like every lad in town, arrogant and stinky, imperious and deceiving like Judas. Mine was a bad death, and only now that Nuoro doesn't exist any longer, I get to settle my thoughts, senses and lacks. So, I can share my story, the one of a character chased away by evil, even though now is not my permanent resting place, but a long and cavernous passage full of voices, regrets and nostalgia. My motor is a compelling desire to tell, not to disappear into this purgatory, but to meet Francesca again in another transit of the planets. I hope so. Then I won't be a horse anymore. Perhaps there will be a neat moon growing over the hill, and Nuoro will reappear in its plateau like a garden of goodness and delicacies. Oh, yes, you may deny that a madman can understand what has happened around him. How could I possibly tell you all about this strange affair? You are wrong, I assure you. Madness is a gateway, an anticipation of the other world. It is poetry and lightness, not blindness or deafness. When trotting and galloping along the streets of Moro, with its steep ups and downs as if the town were always in a mood, I was flying, weightless, yet conscious of everything, the plots and the connections clear in my mind, shining and frightening like my mother's knife. In exploring the borders of the supernatural, you learn to accept unusual apertures and closures. There are prairies other than those of Solitude, and other perspectives, much wider than the big valley in the distance. Moreover, my understanding was made easier, for human stories are repetitive and men and women so predictable in the end. Francesca, instead, was a gem of translucent mineral, pure and lustrous, something unique in a basket of stones and vipers. Her ability to accept people's feelings with such caritas and sensibility changed my soul. She communicated with me because our spirits met in love, confessing to me the sentiments I didn't dare to perceive. Actually, she mainly spoke to her Mediterranean oak, the ilex left to her by her grandfather, but I spoke to her tree too, and my affection grew, until my execution. Moro, in the meantime, smiled superiorly. Each tragedy was new fodder for its pride, each murder another brick in its monument. So, the days and nights rolled on without mercy, like rainwater flowing through an anthill. On top of the shed tears, the demoniac hisses, the wind and the storms. If you want to hear the soundtrack to this story, imagine my whinnies, my high-pitched, anguished neighs uttered against fate.